All right, good morning, John. Here is the first, not tutorial, but just sort of guide to garden maintenance for the next few weeks and harvesting as well. So lots of chives here, even though this part of the garden. Beets are going along. There's bare dirt. I'm going to be planting stuff, so you can keep that wet. I don't have any soaker hoses there, but I'll be hopefully planting something before I go. We've got lots of arugula bushes. You can see them here. Well, you know what they look like. There's tons of them. Now, I really highly recommend eating the purslane because this stuff is got more omega-3 than salmon and boosts the immune system, and we sure want to do that. Now, one thing I am going to want to ask you to do is, you see here the cilantro is going to seed, becoming coriander, and once these start to dry out, and there are quite a few all throughout these plots, is if you could cut them at the stem and then just tie them together. I'll have some string and scissors up on the porch. I'll show you where they are. And just tie them together, and you could just hang them on the hooks where I have the umbrellas and stuff. That would be great because I'll be saving the coriander seeds for spices and for replanting. Okay. And I think same with the dill, although I'll probably get to that and pull it out before I go. But if you see any umbels, U-M-B-E-L, it's a cool word. If you see any umbels going to seed, if you could pick those too, that'd be great, but not a tragedy if you don't, okay? So I'm gonna go back around here. I have one soaker hose back here for this line of pepper plants. You can see them here. And if it starts to get real dry, just put it in here for an hour or so, or like when you're in here in the morning. And I have a couple other soaker hoses I'll show you at other pots, so you could alternate those, but it's a nice way of water. And I don't have any for the rows of zinnias. I have fewer zinnias this year, but if it gets real dry, if you can give those a water, that'd be great. Again, not a tragedy if you can't. I have one row here of a plant that I'm hoping will take off. You see them here. There's a cosmos, that pink one, but then there's about 6 or 8 plants growing. You can see what they look like, and that should be a flower. Otherwise, the zinnias are starting to get close to blooming, and you know those, if you just keep picking them for bouquets, they'll keep branching out, so feel free to pick bouquets of zinnias. There's the Persian carpet zinnias, and so on. There's some arugula growing throughout here, some plants. I just harvested them, and I'll be harvesting as much arugula as I can to take with me to eat on the road. But you're sure welcome to that. The more you pick, the more it comes back. It's a new zinnia type, pretty cool. And also the spider flowers, and they're just doing their thing. Okay, so come around here. You can see that's another big arugula bush. There's quite a few back here. A couple sunflowers. These lighter green plants, and I got some over there too. Those are called coxcombs. Some more sunflowers here. There's a couple eggplants and some more peppers back here. A sorrel plant, if you want to try it, it's probably pretty rough right now. Some light tomatoes. I couldn't bear to throw them away. I grew them from seeds, so those might start going, but I don't know. Then I got probably on this back row back here, I'll probably be planting some beans, I think. So you might see some beans coming up. I don't know. Or I might plant greens. So just watch if there's sprouts going. Try not to walk on them, I guess. I got the zinnias I transplanted into here. That should be a nice patch. And I got a stand of zinnias here too, which should be nice. And here's some nasturtitums. this tall bush here. I don't know. I think it might be blue fenugreek, so I'm leaving it go, but I'm not sure. It might also be a weed. I don't know, but just leave that. And of course you got your tarragon plant here. I might cut that back and tie it together and you'll be able to see it, but you can see, the leaves of the tarragon. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tour of the yurt here. On the yurt, I'm going to pull these dill plants out today, probably, or tomorrow before I go. And if you'll be careful, you'll see here at the bottom, right there, and right here, if the rabbits don't get them, those are pole beans. So if you see those start to grow, to train them up here to kind of form a doorway. And then with the squashes, you can see they're starting to do their thing. And this is a question of kind of trying to keep them all going up. I have two different kinds here. I have tromboncinos, of course, but I also have a smaller squash called a hooligan. Couldn't resist the name. And here you can see starting to be some tromboncinos, and they could still, you could harvest them in their zucchini size, like this one here. I might pick that one, but if you see some like that, feel free to pick them, because the key here will be a little later in the season to let them go to reach their glorious full signature vegetable size. So trying to find here, here we go. So if you see something low like this, you can always fill up like so. Now there's been some squash bug infestation. I've been pulling those off, and maybe I'll show you the method I used. It's kind of therapeutic in an interesting way, using duct tape to pull off the eggs. So I see some right here. They're amber colored, and you take a piece of duct tape and you put the sticky side out, make a loop around your hand, and then you just press it up to that and pull them off. You can scrape them off with your finger, but it's a little harder. And that's just to kind of keep them mitigated. Unless we use poison, we're not going to be able to keep them down. I also have what I think is a new tromboncino cross with butternut. It's this short, stubbier thing. We'll see how that goes. I think that might have been the big one that we had last year over on the other side of the yard. Here you can see the hooligans starting to come in. That's the first one I'm seeing, so that's pretty cool. Alright. So I'm going to call that a wrap because it's 8 minutes and that'll be a pretty big file. Alright, next up, go back. Alright, I'm going to start up here. I got some plants up here, Johnny. If you wouldn't mind giving them a water once every few days or so, especially my tree here, which is doing so great. And these geraniums, I got some peppers in there, some shiso. If you ever want any shiso, you're welcome to it. It's a Japanese herb. Okay, I'll come down here. Be careful, there's some wasp nests up here. Hornets. I did kill a couple. I might take these out, but just be careful. Okay. Alright. Now, on the side garden, there's not really much you need to do. You could water the kale here and harvest the kale as you like. There's some broccoli plants, but they seem to be, they're just coming in. You can see, I don't know, they might be pretty good. And you can see the tomatoes in the back there. But here I also have a soaker hose set up. You just put that in and put it in for, I don't know, half hour, hour. These peppers, most of them are, well, there's hot. These guys are sweet. These fish are super hot. Cayenne, these poblanos won't be ready yet. These Toshkos, I wish I had planted more of these. They'll turn red. I'm hoping to have quite a harvest of those. These banana peppers, also welcome to harvest a couple of those. Eggplants are doing pretty good. Same thing. Get a little bigger. I got some black beauties, but I think they need to be a lot bigger than that. I can't quite figure that out, but if they look right, they'll be all right. It's the herb garden. Putting in a little bit more parsley. I got basil. I got rosemary. I'll be taking these dill plants out today. Thyme or parsley. You see the silver hose goes right into these tomatoes that go around the back. The cherries are going to start coming in soon, I suspect. We should have quite a lot of fun with those. The swing set here with the Montana pine root trellis. You see it starting to climb up here, and I'm hoping this guy makes it. They've been kind of suffering, and I think they might have the squash vine borer. Might also have more of the squash bugs. Hoping I put some more dirt in it. I'm going to plant in this dirt some more beans, some pole beans, so they might crawl up this thing if this guy dies. So if you see some beans sprouting at the base here, just let them go. And you can see here, these are pie pumpkins, and I don't know if they're going to make it or not. So that's the side garden. Okay, I'm going to take you to the back garden. All right, so you see here I've got, let's see, 7 aromas here in the straw here in front of the garden that I put in this year. Just mowed it down to the nubbins and then dug holes and planted tomatoes. And you see there's not very much wilt at all growing yet. And these are paste tomatoes. This first one here is a Amish paste. They're just this one. Don't quite get it why there's just one there. And there's a few more starting to take. I don't know if these guys probably won't be ready until I come back. And you can see there's quite a bit of these smaller aromas, and I'm hoping I'll have a real harvest of those. And hoping that, and I don't know, I'll have some string and scissors out there. If you see stuff that's really starting to drip and drop, you might tie it up. Now in the back here, you can see the basil patch. That could be watered from time to time and harvested as it's ready or as you need it. And again, you always pinch that middle one, which I know you know. And the nasturtidums in the back there, feel free to pick some leaves or flowers from those. I got some zinnias here, feel free to harvest those so they keep branching out. And I, excuse me, I've got beans coming in. And these guys are going to start producing, oh my goodness, there's going to be so many beans. I think these are yellow. No, looks like they're green. Look at those babies. Oh, I'm going to miss those. But just keep picking up and hopefully there'll be some when I get back. Now I got a strip here, you can kind of see it looks like something's planted, and I'm hoping some parsley comes up out of there, but I'm starting to kind of doubt it. So just be careful when you're walking in there. Okay. Yesterday I hacked away this whole section of weeds, and so this is the best pathway back into the garden. And you can see here, I don't know what happened to that guy. See here, and this again, you want to, if you see them twisting up on themselves, just do a little bean therapy and get them onto a place where there's nothing, and just kind of keep trying to spread them out a little bit to give them room, so when you're picking them, they're easier to pick and they get more light and stuff, I guess. That's my theory anyway. Alright, and just leave that there. That's pretty fun. In this new patch I've got where there's a mound, I've got some zucchini, so they'll be popping out pretty soon, I suspect. I got a row where the rake is, I got a row of lettuce, and I got a couple rows of beans, or beets rather. I don't know if they'll come in or not. Then I discovered that what looks to me like a cucumber plant, so I bricked it off, you can see, and I put a trellis so you know it's there. Okay, over on this side, got these kind of different looking beans. These are asparagus beans or long beans, and so same thing, they kind of seem kind of fragile, so just keep training them up. The bush beans, there's 2 and 1.5 rows of bush beans here, and then there's a row of zinnias right here. Again, on these pole beans here in the back, they're a little late because the rabbits kept gnawing them. You can see where some were really big and then a bunch got chewed off. So same thing, just kind of keep them coming up their pathways. Alright, and then once in a while just kind of keep getting them onto empty string, as it were. Okay. And here I've got some beets coming in, and they'll just keep them watered if it gets real dry. You see here, and I may try to transplant a few more of these beets out. Yesterday I transplanted this group, and so if you see those really wilting, it'd be good to get them in. I've got a couple yellow beets, but for some reason a bunch germinated, but they didn't seem to survive, and I think they're a tender beet. You can see one over there too. So that's a yellow beet. Otherwise, it's pretty weed-free back here. You can see I just took some purslane out. This row here is all greens. Here's some arugula coming in. Lettuce, this is some forellenschus or trout lettuce. Not very much germinated. I think it was too hot. So I think I planted something maybe in here. And endive also same thing, but this mizuna really came in. Then I threw some arugula seeds down. You can see how quickly they germinate. Then I got some yellow zucchini coming in. I was going to try to cover them, but I never did, and I don't think I'll get to it today. I got a row right here of cilantro. Here I got some, you can see a few basil plants, and right there. And I also threw in some more seeds. You might see some more. Here I got a late cucumber, and I planted some more seeds around there, and you can see the trellis. And here I got a yellow crookneck squash. Hoping is these are late season plants that won't get decimated by the infamous squash vine borer. Here you can see I got a row of dill coming in, another round, and then over here I got cilantro coming in. All right, that's almost everything. I'll turn this off and start again. All right, so from here, this over here is potatoes. I've dug a few up, but it was too early. They need to die completely back, so that's just something to leave. And over here, potatoes too, and those can just be left. Thyme and oregano, feel free to harvest that. Then I got some zinnias here, and then I have under here I have zucchini, and I'm covering these to keep them from getting the squash vine borer. And they're starting to do pretty good. And I guess just if once in a while you could throw some water in there. When they start flowering, I'm gonna have to uncover them, and maybe we can touch base about that, because they need to be pollinated. They won't set fruit unless they're uncovered, but there's the dilemma. So I'm trying to get them as big as possible before I uncover them. Here's another set of pole beans, also kind of late. Also got chewed off. I think I got some of those flat yellow ones in here somewhere. And you can see here a lot of purslane. And I'll tell you what, try this out. This stuff's really good, and it's like I said, more omega-3 than salmon. And I've been eating it in all kinds of stuff, so I really recommend it. Kind of lemony. There's lots of it. Over here, I'm just noticing here on my squash, this is delicata, but I don't like the looks of this. It looks like powdery mildew. So we'll see what happens with that. It looks like it's spreading pretty bad, this spot. I don't like the looks of that, but not much I can do now. So this one climbing up here is called delicata. I hope it manages. I got pumpkins here, and I'm just kind of training them out into the garden. All right, well, they should just keep going. You can kind of check from time to time to see if there are any pumpkins growing. Here, pretty self-explanatory. There's the cucumber house, or whatever. You see here, they're really starting to come in. I'll probably pick these this morning to take with me on the road. Bring some veggies from Iowa to Montana. Same thing here, just kind of keep them sort of training inward and along the strings. So there's that. Now see, look, we have some wilt forming, and that's a bummer, and you remember that, so I might go ahead and just take this one out. That's a bummer. Break that one off and throw it on. Looks like I got some mildew growing on this too. This is the first time I've seen that. That's kind of troubling, but I think they'll produce quite a bit anyway. Okay. Then I got tomatoes. And there's quite a few that are setting a lot of fruit, as you can see. Some big ones here. You know, as they come ripe, I don't know if they'll be ripe for another few weeks, but they could come in fast, and there's a lot of flowering, so I'm hoping that they all will give us some fruit there. So, and I have no idea which kind or which, you know me. And that's it. So that's the Elm Street Garden instructions. And I don't know if I did the yurt, but just let me go over that again. If I did it, I got a soaker hose right here. Same thing, you can set up, and I've also put in, you see some pole beans. Just starting to sprout on both sides here. See it right there and right there. What my hope is that I'll use those to train up the door. You can see how this guy's really starting to take off and get higher. And if the squashes are getting to be about like this, all right, those can be taken off and used like zucchinis. A couple more. What I want them to really do is get out onto the roof, so you can see how this one is starting to get up there. And then in the center there, that's shallot, and that should just keep climbing up, and once in a while if you could douse that with water, that'd be good. Alright, and then same thing, just kind of keep making sure that the heads of these are going up, and that should be it. Alright, I think that's a wrap.
Пешеходы по лужам, а вода по асфальту рекой. И неясно прохожий в этот день не похоже, почему я веселый такой. А я играю на гармошке у прохожих на виду. К сожалению, день рождения только раз в году. Ту-ту, Амелия, скажи с днем рождения, няня! С днем рождения!